Yo, what's up, guys? Normally, I talk to you guys a lot about traveling and how I do what I do and just a broad life in general. But today, I wanted to kind of take a step back and give a little bit more insight on how specifically I got in the position where I am. So, if you keep up with my videos, you may have noticed that I was a teacher at one point, and I actually went to college and got a degree in history. And I thought I was actually going to become a teacher as my career for my entire professional life, right? Awesome career teaching kids, teaching the younger generation, making an impact for tomorrow, and getting a nice pension salary to retire on, right? Awesome career choice, right? I want to step back today and give a second installment in my real talk rant, okay? So this video is for anybody who is curious about maybe becoming a teacher, or if you're a student, curious as to why teachers are the way they are. I'm going to actually share everything I know about the industry and why it is the way it is today. And so this is going to be a real talk rant. I'm not going to do any editing and cuts because I think that is a good way for you guys to understand my perspective more clearly without having to hear edits and constant jumping back and forth between points and points, okay? And so I do have some notes prepared to assist me within this process, okay? And so my first thing that I want to point out is if you know me because you used to work with me at a school or something like that, I don't have any issues with you, okay? I just want to talk about my experiences and what I think, okay? So that being said, many of the teachers who get into the business are only in the business because for whatever reason they want to have some sort of power trip and have power and be in charge of people's lives and give out grades. And this is something that really struck me as surprising when I became a teacher because I got into the business to help people and to teach people and to share the knowledge that I have. But what I was noticing is that not all of the teachers in the industry are that way. And some people actually enjoy ruining kids' days and saying mean things to kids and just being a bad person in general. And that was really one of the things that really turned me off about being a teacher, is having to be nice to the people that I knew were just overtly being mean to kids because I had to be on their side. So that's one thing that really drove me nuts. And then secondly, they play a daily game. If you're a teacher, you have to engage yourself in a daily game. You know, you're not going to, for example, use a cuss word. You use a cuss word, you're fired. You're not going to talk about certain bad things that you've done in your life, because if you do anything bad in your life, that ruins your credibility, and all of a sudden you can't become a teacher. Well, at least that's how they would present the argument. Okay, and then, also the academic standards. That's another thing. If you are talking about your unit, what you are doing for in your daily classes to your administrator or principal, one of the things they'll be asking is, hey, what academic standard are you meeting? Well, whatever happened to I teach kids what I'm supposed to teach and not some academic standard come up written by somebody in a courtroom who hasn't even been in a classroom, right? And so that's another thing that kind of drove me nuts about being a teacher, is having to play the daily game, okay? And then next, if you're a teacher, you're not going to have time for anything. Nothing. Okay? So you might be getting into the job thinking that, oh, I get summers off. I get to have spring break and winter break and lots of free time. I get to have fun and be a teacher. Well, the reality of it is, during that free time, you're going to have boatloads of work to do, and it really gets to the point where on your weekends you're having to lesson plan and grade, and during the breaks you're only thinking about, oh my goodness, I have to go back to work pretty soon, and more than likely you have a stack of papers to grade. Okay, and so the point being, you really don't have as much time for things as you think you might if you are getting into this industry just for the breaks and days off. Be warned, okay? Next one up, teachers are constantly being pressured, okay? I don't even know why, but for some reason, maybe it's just my specific circumstance and experience, there was always something that I had to work on. There's always something that I could become better at. And if you're not really passionate about the whole field of education, different educational strategies and questions to start, or words to start off a question, really filtered down and boring stuff, they're constantly being pressured to, try a new educational technique, try this and that, stop doing this, stop doing that, do it this way. And it gets to the point where you just get to the point where I don't know what I'm doing. What am I supposed to be doing here? I'm so confused because it gets annoying having people constantly pressure you almost as if you don't know what you're doing, because they're always constantly pressuring you and maybe pressuring you to do different things and opposite of what they told you to do before, and it gets crazy, okay? And then next up, teachers are conditioned to become very mean, okay? Specifically in my personal circumstance, I had middle schoolers, and middle schoolers, 12, 13-year-old boys and girls, they're not wanting to learn 24/7, 365. And when they go into your class, they're not going to be, hey, teacher, I'm ready to learn. I'm just going to sit down, be quiet, and just you run it from here. Because I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to mess around. I'm just going to learn from you, right? That's how it's going to work. Absolutely not, okay? And this is why I brought up the point teachers are conditioned to become mean. Because, when I was first starting off and I was dealing with this sort of behavior, is hey, come on, chill out. We got class. Calm down, And then it got to the point where he's not actually serious. I don't know about it. I'm still messing around. I don't care if you tell me to do something wrong. And it gets to the point where teachers really learn how to use a firm voice. Stop! It took me a long time to learn that, but it got to the point where it was so exhausting because I felt like I was being mean to people when I really didn't have to. And it was all for the sake of keeping the peace in class. But when it starts to take a toll on people's personality and self-esteem and how they think of themselves and or whether or not you like them, because that actually is kind of a big deal to middle schoolers, it takes a toll, okay? And then, so that's my next thing to rant about. Next up, they learn to filter out all of their words and carefully say things, okay? When you're a teacher, you're going to be spending a lot of time thinking, okay, and not necessarily just talking stream of consciousness. That's something that, people like myself, they like to do. They like to be able to just let it out, speak their mind freely without having to worry about backlash. But if you are a teacher, anything you say and do can be used against you in the court of law, just as, a police officer would say. But it's very true. Kids go home and they tell their parents that you say this and that, and all of a sudden it's a big deal, because you never know what people's personal beliefs are or spiritual beliefs are. And if you even borderline touch upon those, you can get in a lot of trouble. Okay, because that's why teachers learn to filter out all their words and carefully say things. And let me tell you, if you're a teacher watching this, it's very nice to be able to speak my mind and not have to filter everything I say. Okay, next up, and we just have a couple more. Next up, they have to fit a personality model, which is impossible. Okay, so I don't know about you personally sitting at home, but when I was a teacher, I was fed the idea that I had to be a nice, perfect person. I don't do anything bad while I'm at home. I just probably go home and read books and sleep every single night, and I just live a boring lifestyle because I live to teach 24/7. That's just me. That's who I am. The most important part about me. Let me tell you, as a teacher who has worked on the inside, that is the exact opposite of how it works. And so maybe some of the best teachers that you've had, well, I could tell you some stories about things that they told me that they probably wouldn't want to tell the students, but that's not the point of the video. The point that I'm trying to get to is that the whole personality model of the teacher being a perfect person, a nice person, just overall good person in general, it's not necessarily always true, okay? And then lastly, this is kind of a reward, I guess you could say, to anybody who's a student who actually is watching this 9 minutes into the video. And this is having to do with the topic of cheating, okay? When I was a teacher, actually, let me take 5 steps back. When I was a student, I used to cheat, okay? And when I was a junior in high school, my entire junior class had a system where we would cheat on multiple choice tests. And it was at the point where there'd be 20 people working together in a room at the same time cheating on the test. Well, how did we do that? Maybe I'll make a video on that in the future. But the point that I'm trying to get at, being on both sides of the situation, being once somebody who tried cheating, I didn't always do it. And just so you guys know, when I went to college and high school, when I went to college, I didn't really cheat at all because I became more focused and passionate on what I was learning. But that's beside the point. What the point is, guys, if you're in middle school and high school, I guess it kind of depends on the personality of the teacher, but most teachers that I've known and observed, if they notice you overtly cheating, they're more than likely they're going to turn a blind eye. So, oh, I didn't see that, not even bring it up or talk about it. Okay, so that's my real talk rant on being a teacher, and long story short, do not get into this business without carefully knowing what you're getting yourself into. That's kind of why I wanted to make this video with you guys today. Hope that was helpful, and hope you're having a great day. Peace.